Hello, welcome back to another movie vlog. It's been a while since I've done one of these. They're so easy to make. I don't know why I haven't done one in a while, but I'm here doing one now. And today I'm going to sit down and watch the original Japanese Ghost in the Shell. Probably been aware of this film for at least 10, 12 years, something like that. When I first started college, there was a lot of people in the class, in my class, who were really into anime. And Ghost in the Shell was one that got brought up a lot. In fact, we had to do a project where we edited a trailer from a full movie. We had to take a full movie, put it onto the computer, and then edit our own trailer. I chose Rocky 4, and I ended up not even finishing it, unfortunately, but someone did Ghost in the Shell, I know that much. And it looked interesting, but it didn't really grab me. It just seemed too foreign for me. It didn't seem like something I could get into, and how the time has changed. Big anime fan, and this is one of those kind of big ones that a lot of people talk about. You know, Ghost in the Shell is definitely one of the pinnacle ones, and obviously because they just made a live-action version that came out last month, I think. It's still in the cinema now, so I might end up actually going to see the new live-action. Is it an American version? I'm guessing it is because Scarlett Johansson stars in it. But the live-action version, I might go see that maybe even tonight or tomorrow and do another movie vlog to kind of compare the two maybe. But for now, I'm going to sit down and watch the original, see what I think. I've heard it's a very deep thinking kind of film that can get quite complicated as far as the plot is concerned. But I really don't know anything about it other than the main character is some kind of robot. And that I'm even basing off some of the trailers of the live-action version. So going in pretty much blind on this one, but I'm excited to check it out and tick it off the list because I know it's one of the big ones as far as Japanese animated films are concerned. So I'm going to check it out and I'll check in with you once I've finished. Okay, just taking a brief pause. I just finished the opening credit sequence, I guess, and the opening scene of the film, and I just want to say an incredible setup. Like, obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on in this character, Major, the robot, the character you see on all the posters of the DVDs and all that kind of stuff, and the character Scarlett Johansson plays in the remake. We get the introduction to her character instantly. We see she's a robot because she's got these things on the back of her neck. And they're asking her why, over some kind of communications, they're asking her why her brain is so full of stuff or something like that, and she says it's my time of the month, which I found quite funny. I'm not sure if that's intended to be like a kind of off-kilter joke, but I found it quite funny anyway. And I won't spoil things, but it was a really impactful opening scene, and some of the visuals just are taking my breath away already. And then we get this credit sequence where obviously the cast are listed and the producers, well, not even the cast I don't think, but just the people who made the film, the animators, the directors, things like that, the composer. And we see the creation of her body through like the computer schematics, the readouts, and then the actual body being put through different vats of stuff, and the skin peels off and all that kind of thing. And then we see the finished, version of her. And I just really loved the opening credit sequence, just the way it played out and showed you the inception of her body and brain and everything until the actual finished article, and then just ending with her kind of waking up as this fully formed and functional thing. So yeah, I just thought it was a really impactful opening credit sequence. I hope the movie lives up to how atmospheric and cool that was. So I'm just going to continue now and wait until the film's finished before I talk again. But just had to throw that in there. I really liked that opening credit sequence. I thought it was a great way to kick off the movie. Okay, I'm done watching Ghost in the Shell, and it was that good that I actually lost hair during the viewing of it. Took a break, had my hair cut, as you do in between watching a film. And as I was saying about the opening being so good, it really did live up to it. I think after I watch this for maybe one or two more times, I think I'll probably put this very high on my list of favorite films. Maybe it was great. Very deep, as I said. I was expecting it to be very conceptual, a lot of big ideas, but I don't feel like they were presented in that poor of a fashion. I just need to think about it a little bit more. Like it isn't a film you can watch in one sitting for the first time and get everything out of it the first time. It's just not one of those films. It feels like one of those films that whenever you go back to it, you see something new in it. So it follows the character of Major, who's this cybernetic government agent, and they're tracking down this hacker called the Puppet Master, who's causing a lot of problems. And it's a world where, and I liked how it was a futuristic world, but it wasn't too futuristic. Like, it didn't go super crazy. The city felt at least borderline believable. Reminded me of films a bit like Metropolis in a way, the animated version. This kind of futuristic Metropolis style, you know, almost Blade Runner-ish, not quite that far, a bit different, but I liked the setting. And I liked how, you know, some characters had access to these, I think they called them thermo-optic suits or something like that, where they could be camouflaged, but you can still kind of see ripples and stuff, and that led to some really, the action in this film is fantastic. I loved all the action scenes. You could tell what was going on, it was easy to read, but it was exciting at the same time, and it's a stunning film. The visuals, the artwork, animation, just gorgeous. Really, really nice to look at, and the characters were interesting to look at. You know, they were drawn very well. And yeah, the plot was intriguing because it goes to a point where, and a lot of films that deal with robotic characters, they'll go into this, what does it mean to be a robot? Where we'll have a robot who is self-aware and is questioning their own existence, and then you can kind of take that and just plug it into the idea of just humans thinking about what is it like to be human, and that is touched on a lot in this. What is it to be me? And the main character Major, she talks about that because and it feels like a lot of the characters, even a majority of the characters in the film, are cybernetic, but it's not just black and white like humans and robots. You have humans who have like cybernetic enhancements. You know, like at one point Major says to a character, you know, you've got more human in you than machine, unlike me, things like that. So some people have these like augmented digital brains and things like that, which is really interesting. But she said that if she was to step away from her life as a government agent, she'd have to give back her augmented brain and the things that the government own. And would she still be herself without all those pieces that make her who she is at that point in time? And then the villain of the film, if you even want to call it that, the Puppet Master, once you finally meet that character, and when that character starts speaking about its ideas on life and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, it delves into that even deeper, and I found it really interesting. And I'm kind of looking forward to watching it again. It was very short, only an hour and 20 minutes. I felt like it should have been longer just because I love the world and I would have loved to have seen more. I don't feel like it was shortchanging the audience though. I don't feel like there was stuff missing. It was very snappy, the pacing was great. I just love to see more of the characters, you know, but I don't feel like they're underdeveloped at the same time. Just yeah, very visually interesting film. Again, using the word interesting, but that's and the music was great too. Like, and it wasn't just one style of music. There were lots of different cues that were very different and serene and eerie, and you know, yeah, just really really loved this film. More than I was expecting to be honest. I was expecting it to go over my head a bit. And some of it did, you know, I'm not going to lie. But overall, it's definitely one to go back to and get more out of, I think. And yeah, the pacing I really liked. For some reason, like, you have these fantastic action set pieces that were so enjoyable to watch. Just the way that they were put together, the way they would go up and down, and you'd have these brief moments to pause, and then the action would start again. And I think about half an hour into the film, something like that, there's this extended montage with this great music, and you're just going through the city, just looking at the city life, and then eventually we transitioned to Major, just looking around the city and stuff, and it was really long, but it was this massive breather in the story where you just get to look at the world, you know, and I just really liked that part of the film. And another part, kind of similar, before the big climax of the film, when she's getting ready to go face the Puppet Master, and it's just the music kind of overrides everything. We hear some sound effects, but it's just the music, and we see the characters getting ready, and it felt different, and yeah, I loved it. I really did. I'm looking forward to seeing the the live action version. I have, you know, what's the word? No reservations saying I think there's no way it'll come close to this in terms of being a great film. I mean, there's potential there, but I feel like films like that, stories like that, I should say, are sometimes best told in animation. Said it before, say it again. When you have concepts like this, like robots and lots of things that in live action would require special effects, in animation they're not special effects. They're just a part of everything else, because it's all drawn. So there's no difference in quality. There's no trying to make the audience believe that this special effect is as real as the actors you're filming, because it's exactly the same as everything else. So you don't have that suspension of disbelief whatsoever in an animated film, because it's all there on the screen. Whereas in a live action film, it might be a little bit of bad CGI, or it might be, something that doesn't look realistic, or it's too jarring. It doesn't match with the live action stuff. So I just feel on that basis alone, it's already got a lot working against it. But I'm intrigued to see it. So I think we are going to go see it, and I'll probably do some kind of video talking about it after the fact. I'll probably just do it like this, just casual, just not really a review, but thoughts like this one. So there we go, Ghost in the Shell. I wonder if I did watch it back in that year when I was in college and everyone was talking about it and watching it. I wonder if I would have enjoyed it as much. I don't think I would have. Anyway, that's it. Let me know if you've seen the film, if you have any thoughts on it. I know there's a few sequels, but I'm going to have to read into it and see, because I know with some of these, Japanese franchises, even to things like, off the top of my head, the movie The Ring, or Ring. I know that there's sequels to that, but then there's a side sequels that go in a different direction. So there might be all sorts of stuff in this Ghost in the Shell franchise that just, I don't know. I don't know if the quality holds up with the sequels. I'll look into it, but as that stands as a complete story, start to finish, without thinking about sequels, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, just great. Really, really great. Loved watching it. Okay, so it's the same night. I was just editing the video, and I was reading up about the franchise, and that's something I didn't do at all. I didn't look up any details about the story, the other movies. I've since done that, and in reading up about the character of Major, it seems that she is partly human, I think. So I'm assuming her brain is human, or I mean, that must be the only thing, right? So again, I just wanted to put this in there for anyone who is going to be big fans of the movie and watch my video and go, no, she's not a cyborg, she's part human. I didn't know this. It wasn't really laid out that explicitly in the film. Maybe it was, and I missed it. I don't know. That's entirely possible. But that only makes it even more interesting to me, even more layered and complex. And I have so many questions. But I like films that leave you with questions, and you can kind of fill in the blanks on your own. I don't know how enlightening the sequels are going to be. I know they made a sequel almost 10 years later, and then they rebooted it, they did a series, so I don't know if I'll dive into those. And if anyone has any recommendations as far as that goes, the future of the series past the original movie, please let me know. I'd love to hear anything you have to say about that, and I know that there's an original manga as well. So yeah, that's it. I just want to add that in there just to say that I didn't catch that part where she is actually part human. I thought she was fully robotic, and I guess that's where there's a point in the film where a character says, "I'm not AI, I'm not artificial intelligence, I'm not AI," and I was thinking, well, why are they saying that? Isn't all of these cyborgs AI? So I guess that the human part is the brain more often than not. But I mean, I don't know how she looks like the way she does. Well, I guess I do, because you see them kind of molding her her likeness in the opening credit sequence, and then we see. Anyway, so I'm going too far into it, but I didn't quite realize that it was a human brain. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.